Welcome to episode 3 of Tractor Stories. Today we're going to talk about my 1971 John Deere 4320. But to tell you this tractor story, first I have to tell you the tractor I had and sold to buy this one. When I first went out on my own farming, I bought a 1963 John Deere 4010. And I'm going to put a picture up right now of that tractor. It's the only picture I could find, and this is actually a couple years later after I sold it to the guy, and I went by his house and it was sitting there, and clipped off a picture, and this is the only picture I've got because I've broken a couple phones since then. This is pretty well how I had it, except for I didn't have this top. I actually had the top that's on this 4320 on that tractor. I built it for the 4010, and then when I sold the 4010 I moved it over to this tractor. And I did have the radiator screen on it. He must have had it off for a reason. But anyway, I had the 4010. I bought it and was fairly happy with it. I was just happy to have a 4000 series diesel. Never thought I'd be able to afford one. And the 4010 was a pretty good tractor. But then one day, this is back in the Craigslist days, I see a real blurry picture of a tractor, an ad, and it said John Deere turbo diesel. Didn't have a number, didn't say what it was, and so I called the ad and I said, what is it? He said it's a 4320. Well, he had it priced, the tractor with a 8-foot blade, for I believe $6,500. I said, what's wrong with it? This doesn't add up. A 4320 does not go for $6,500 with a rear implement. And he said that the left tire was locked up. The tractor ran good, but the tractor would not move. And it was about 150 miles away, and I took a chance on it because I thought that was probably the only way I'd ever afford a 4320. So we drug it on the trailer. It started snowing. It was a whole event. About slid off the trailer. We winched it and pushed it with another tractor, and I got it home. And right in there, this side, the brake plate, it's a big disc brake in there, and under this housing, and it had broke and had locked up the rear tire. So I replaced the brake plate and the pads, and I had a tractor. There's a few things I've done to this thing since then. When I initially got it, it had backhoe tires on the front, and they were low profile, and it really set down in the front. I put different tires on it. Rear tires are still original, but yeah, so I bought this tractor, borrowed a little money, and bought this tractor, and 3 weeks later sold the 4010 to be able to pay for this one. And I tell you what, this is probably the favorite tractor on the place. This tractor was my big tractor, my everyday, my main tractor until last year when I bought the 4440. And you'll see this tractor's hooked to a baler today. It doesn't really do a whole lot of baling anymore. It's mostly a rake and brush hogging tractor. But this baler broke, and I had to hook to the backup, and I just used this tractor to get the baler in the shop where we could work on it. But this tractor has just been outstanding. It handles so good. And if you don't know, a 4320 is just a 4020. I don't want to say it's just a 4020 because a lot of people think it's a 4020 with a turbo. There's a few differences. Of course, the engine's different. It doesn't just have a turbo. It's got some oil squirters to squirt the bottom of the piston and the wrist pin to keep it cool. The tractor is about, I think it's about 4 or 6 inches longer in the wheelbase, and it's full. I wish I would have looked up the details, but you can find it on tractor data. But it is longer. It's taller. I can actually show you, if I can keep you from shaking. There is a block right here. See, this block, this plate that was added for a 4320 to bring that hood up. And the main reason for that is to get room for this radiator and a bigger fuel tank and the turbo under the hood. This tractor has a 45-gallon fuel tank, where 4020 I believe is about 33 gallons. But it's just, I don't know. I've got the 4440, and it's a great tractor with that sound guard cab and that quad range transmission, but for some reason this 4320 just handles so good. While I'm on this side of the tractor, let me show you a few things that I've done to this 4320 that I've pretty much done to all my tractors. So you notice my toolbox here that needs repainted. I went through 2 sets of those long skinny, they call them 3ET batteries or something, that go back there, one on each side. I went through 2 sets. I'd get maybe a year, maybe 2 years out of them. I guess I should say I bought this tractor about 2017 to date this. I started my own stuff in 2016. I ran the 4020 or the 4010 about a year, and then this came up and I just couldn't pass it up. But at the time, those skinny, I believe they're 3ET is the name on the number on the batteries. Those were about $112 a piece, and I could buy a Group 31 for $99. So this Group 31 has 1,000 cranking amps, or 1,000 cold cranking amps, and 1,200 regular cranking amps. And I think those original batteries were only $375 or something times 2. So with this one battery, I've actually got more cranking amps than the other 2 batteries would. And one battery is half the money of 2. So that's the main thing I did. And if you ever do that to one of your 20 series, these battery boxes, I want to call them toolboxes because that's what they are now, just make dandy toolboxes. I put a piece of sheet metal on the back side, and I think I've got a chain in the other one, but they make dandy toolboxes. You see it's got a chrome pipe. I'm not against chrome pipes, but it came on it. I've actually got the original muffler that came with it, and I may put it back on. The only reason I've kept the chrome pipe on it so far is because this tractor is turned up quite a bit, and I feel like if it can get that exhaust away, it'll probably help with EGTs. But to step back a minute, this tractor, the guy I bought it from, he had it a couple years. He supposedly bought it from the original owner, and he sold it to him because he only had one child, a daughter, and she didn't care about tractors, and he had some condition, I don't remember the name of it, to where he had to move. This was in central Illinois, and he had to move to Utah or something because the humidity. He had a condition where he couldn't take the humidity, and he had to move to a drier climate, Colorado or Utah or something. And so he had to leave his farm behind, and his daughter stayed, but they leased out all the farmland, and he said that this neighbor was a friend of his, and he said he thought he'd care more about the tractor than the daughter would, or she'd just sell it, which he ended up selling it because John Deere quoted him $10,000 to fix it, and he wasn't going to put that much money into it. I think with parts I fixed it for about $300. And as you see, there's the toolbox on this side. Got some crescent wrenches. Usually there's a chain in there. It must have went missing. But this tractor, like I said, it used to do everything. It used to mow, it used to rake, it used to bale, because I only had this in the 3020, and this 6-cylinder 115 horse rated tractor is a lot more than the 3020, and so this used to do everything for me. Nowadays, now that I've got the 4440, this one basically, as I said, rakes and brush hogs. But as I said, this tractor just handles so good. I don't know what it is. The 4440 is a fine tractor, but I don't know if it's the throttle over there on the column. It just seems so natural, or if it's the way that the hydraulic levers just set right there, where your arm just sets right there, where you can just touch them with your fingertips and have your arm on the armrest. But I tell you what, this tractor is just so comfortable to drive, and I've added some additions to it. We're in Missouri, and we've got some steep ground, and although this isn't the correct roll bar for the tractor, this is actually, I think, from a 40 series utility, but I found it in a scrap yard and I rebuilt it. This is not the actual 4020 roll canopy, but it works just fine. I made it work, and so I added the roll canopy. I've added LED lights to all four corners, and actually another one there to shine down for the disc mower. And then, as you see, there's one in each back corner. And I actually took a paint, that's just a paint roller bucket. I wanted something non-conductive. There's lights coming on, and it's not air conditioning, but it's sure better than nothing. And I mean, we're getting fancy. I've got phone chargers, I've got a strobe light on top. So I've added that to the tractor. And as you saw, the chrome pipe and the Group 31 battery, pretty much everything else is still original. But it's been a really good tractor for me. Like I said, 4020 is a great tractor. This 4320, it's a little bit different. If you look down the hood, see, I bet the seat squeaks as we go down. Oh, it didn't once. It's hard to tell because we're not in the video have a 4020 right in front of us, but the hood is wider, it's longer. When you hop off one and onto the other, you can really sure tell. And a lot of you viewers probably remember this view from the synchro range video. That's been my most popular video so far. It's explaining how to operate a synchro range and kind of simplifying what this transmission actually is. And right now, up in the top right corner, I'll link to that video if anybody wants to see that. But this is probably my favorite tractor. The Grandpa's 3020 has more sentimental value. The 4440 is a nicer tractor to run on a dusty day baling. But this tractor, just if it's cool weather and I'm just brush hogging or raking or something, this thing's a dream to run. Like I said, it's just everything, just my arm lays right here. I can work the brush hog or whatever I need to do. And yeah, it didn't have a handle, so I got a screwdriver handle when I bought it. But let's see if this thing will fire up, and I'll show you how this thing sounds with this straight pipe and this turbo. I mean, it's just really it's just music. I don't know if you'll be able to hear in the video because it seems like the microphone never picks it up, but this tractor just runs super good. I've actually got both panels, but they vibrate and they drive me nuts. I need to put them back on. the engine covers that go right here on both sides. I should have said that earlier. I have those. I've just not put them on. But this is the 4320. This is probably my favorite tractor. As long as it's not 100 degrees. I love this thing. I'd like to keep these videos going. I'm going to do my 4440 next, and then we may go over to tractors of a different color. I've got pretty much all green, but not everybody does. I've got friends I want to interview on their tractors, but stay to the end and hit one of these other videos and watch, or come back for more. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when one of these videos drops. And I sure appreciate you hanging around and watching to the end. Thank you guys so much.